He's been here for 30 years and is responsible for Helena being the only city in Montana that gets all 3 public radio stations, plus this one. I want to also give a shout out to the Montana Military Museum. I think those of you who have never been in the military would benefit greatly by going out there and gaining an understanding of what Montanans have done to defend this country. Those of you who have been in the military, I know some of you go out there, but I'd encourage you to go out there. It's a great part of a healing process. I see they have the ashes of another Montana MIA just been brought in from Tarawa during the Second World War. Anyhow, I'll be back with you in a little while. Well, this is kind of fun, I gotta tell you. I've really enjoyed going through some of the music I used to listen to when I was in high school and in the Army and college. And there's a lot of it that's really relevant to today. I don't know if the young people are going to agree with that, but that's what I think. I think some of the lyrics and some of the tunes by the Moody Blues, by Linda Ronstadt, by Merle Haggard, you know, they're really helpful in this time. And I would like to have a program, if it can get off the ground, that is something that people who work really enjoy. I'd like to see people, highway patrolmen and sheriffs and peace officers, listen to it on Monday morning. And I would like to see people that man the missile silos and people who are driving to work at the refineries, loggers, sheep herders, Native American cowboys, and immigrant Indians. We've got them all here in Montana now, for sure. Baggage handlers, bartenders, baristas, cops, firemen. That's who I have in mind when I'm putting this all together. And we're going to get through this couple of years that we have in front of us. I'll do my best to help out. The last couple of songs before I started talking to you is about the Gulf of Mexico. I found that, you know, the Gulf of Mexico is more than just a body of water. It's part of our life here in this country. There's one song now about the Gulf of America, but there's like 50 songs that involve the Gulf of Mexico, and they're all great songs. From time to time, I'll play them because I feel strongly that we should never have renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. That was wrong. That was an insult to our neighbors to the south, but it was an insult to our own people that work and live along the Gulf. I've been on the Gulf everywhere along there, from the Rio Grande around down to Key West. If you check your AI, you'll find out that the distance between the Straits of Florida at Key West and the Rio Grande is shorter than the distance from the Yucatan Channel to the Rio Grande. More of the Gulf of Mexico is bordered on Mexico. Plus, it's part of our history. So, to me, it's kind of up there with tearing down the White House, or the Washington Monument, or whatever is going to happen next. But I'm just going to do my little bit in my way to try to keep our heads in this whole situation that we're in now. I've played 3 songs requested by people that I met on the streets. Marianne Dunwell, who's just a phenomenally good legislator in my book, asked me to play The Streets of Minneapolis by Bruce Springsteen, which I've done already. And you'll probably hear it again from time to time. And then my old buddy, Craig Harris, the tattoo guy, the one you used to see going around town with the tricycle with his dog Natty on the handlebars. I always told him he should become a training aide for the Law Enforcement Academy. But anyhow, he's a great guy with a really good heart. And he asked me to play the Raging Cajuns version of the Battle of New Orleans. Don Kirshner, Craig heard him over in Missoula and thought he was good. He's very good. He's got a lot of great songs. So it's Cajun music. And then my buddy Magoo, who's in the Army as well as myself, he and I, we wrote a book about the Battle of the Bulge a couple of years ago. He talked me into doing it with him. He's retired Foreign Service officer, and he asked me to go to, when I was over in Europe, in Brussels, bringing a book that I'd written about Archbishop Hunthausen. He suggested that we go out to Bastogne to see what happened at the Battle of the Bulge, the largest engagement in U.S. Army history. And it was phenomenal. It was really, I'm really glad I went. And we wrote a book about that called The Battle of the Bulge from the Montana perspective. And it was good. That was a good experience. Then we took the book around to some of the big towns in Montana. I think we made about 10 stops. Found more people. We found a total of 278 people who had relatives that came to our talks, who had relatives in the Battle of the Bulge. Some didn't make it home. But we did find that most of Montana is really not interested in that stuff anymore, which has set us up for what's happening now. And so if you get a chance to read what we did on that book, it might be helpful to you. It was a case where Hitler's Panzer SS divisions surprised our four worn out from being in battles or brand new divisions early on morning December 16th and tried to roll over the top of them because they thought the Americans would run. The Americans didn't run. They died in place. And it's quite a story, a lot of heroism. And I think it's relevant to today. I think we've been kind of surprised by what's going on. All of us have, but we need to kind of pull together. We need to pull together, all of us. And that's kind of the theme running through my view of this whole thing is together we can't be beat. And there's so many things trying to pull us apart. But the intro song that I'll be having every Monday is Linda Ronstadt, Let's Get Together, Try to Love One Another. But anyhow, Randy and I, we were in a bar in Livingston after we talked to these people in Bozeman. There was 3 people came to our talk in Bozeman, if you can believe that. And 2 of them were fighting with each other. And we didn't know if we were going to get a word in edgewise. And then one of them asked us if we had been in the Battle of the Bulge. Well, Randy and I are both baby boomers. We were born after the war. To us, we just knew people, and we knew about it because it was in our life. And my mother told me about it when I was a little kid having breakfast in the kitchen because her cousin John Green from Butte was in it. He was in Normandy in the Battle of the Bulge with the 101st Airborne Division. So it was part of my upbringing. But most people don't know about it. And you should, because we're kind of in that situation now. We need to link up. We've been surprised by what's going on. We need to take our country back. I'm very serious about it. So this is my little part to do that. After the guy asked Randy and I if we had been in the Battle of the Bulge, we knew that we were just like those old soldiers from the Civil War. You see bending over their sticks and sitting on cannons and stuff with their old hats. We felt like we were ghost soldiers or something. And then we were in the bar in Livingston, and sure enough, this big old jukebox started booming out Johnny Cash playing Ghost Riders in the Sky, song that all of us have heard here in Montana since we were little. And we think about it sometimes when we see the clouds building in the sky, and it goes back to an old Apache song, actually, or an old Apache belief that the people that came before us are in the clouds over the sky watching down on us, helping us out. Ghost Riders. So that's one of the songs that was requested, and I'm playing that as well. Anyhow, I'll try to get better at this. I've made every mistake that's possible for a brand new disc jockey, but I'm trying. And I'm a little old in the tooth, but I'm trying. Take care.